the man who walked into the storm. The night hung heavy over the Sea of Galilee, a black curtain torn only by the pale shimmer of a reluctant moon. Fishermen knew this water's moods, the quiet ripple at dawn, the midday glare, the sudden evening rage. But tonight the sea felt different, almost watchful. Across the shoreline, lanterns bobbed like fireflies as men hauled their nets, whispering rumors of a rabbi who healed the blind and spoke with an authority no scribe could match. On the western ridge, Jesus of Nazareth walked alone, his sandals pressed into the dust, his cloak pulling in the rising wind. The people he'd healed earlier that day still echoed in his mind. The leper who clung to him in disbelief, the woman with years of suffering who touched only his garment and found her strength again. Yet as miraculous as those moments were, Jesus sensed a different weight tonight, a storm approaching, not only across the waters, but across the world. Down by the shoreline, his disciples waited by the boat. Peter held the mooring rope, glancing nervously at the sky. "Master," he called, "the winds are shifting. Best we cross in daylight." But Jesus stepped into the boat with the calm of a man stepping into a quiet room. "Let us go to the other side," he said simply. The disciples obeyed, for there was something in his voice, a peace deeper than the sea, older than the mountains. The first gust hit before they cleared the shallows. Then the second. Within minutes the sea pitched violently, slamming the boat like a toy in the hands of a giant. Thunder cracked overhead. Ropes snapped. Water poured in faster than they could bail it. Through the chaos, Jesus slept, his head resting on a cushion at the stern. "Rabbi, wake up!" Peter shouted over the roar. "We are perishing." Jesus opened his eyes as if waking from a gentle dream. He rose, planting his feet on the groaning planks, and faced the darkness ahead. Wind tore at his hair. Waves rose like jagged mountains ready to devour them. Then he spoke. "Peace. Be still." The storm collapsed in an instant. The waves flattened as though pressed by an invisible hand. The clouds unraveled. The night became unbearably quiet. The disciples stared, not in relief, but in awe that bordered on fear. "Who is this?" whispered Andrew, "that even the winds and the sea obey him?" Jesus said nothing. His gaze rested on them with equal measures of sorrow and deep affection. Faith, like a seed, grows slow. By sunrise they reached the eastern shore, where a man possessed by a legion of unclean spirits broke from the tombs, raving and slashing at himself. His chains hung shattered around him, rusted and bent. Villagers had given up on him long ago, too wild for restraint, too broken for mercy. But Jesus did not step back. The man fell at his feet, choking on cries that were not entirely his own. "What have you to do with us, Son of the Most High God?" the voices shrieked. "Do not torment us." Jesus' reply was firm, steady, carrying the same authority that tamed the storm. "Come out of the man." Moments later the man collapsed, trembling, and the hillside echoed with the cries of the spirits cast away. When it was over, he sat still, clothed, sane, and overwhelmed by a peace he had not tasted in years. "Let me go with you," the man pleaded. Jesus shook his head gently. "Go home to your friends. Tell them how much the Lord has done for you." The man's eyes shone with tears. For some, salvation meant following Jesus. For others, it meant being sent. As the disciples set out again, word reached them of Jairus, a synagogue leader, whose daughter lay at the edge of death. Jesus went with him at once, weaving through a pressing crowd. Voices begged for healing. Hands reached for his cloak. One hand, a woman's, touched him with trembling desperation. For 12 long years she had bled, losing her strength, her place in society, and her hope. Physicians had failed her. Time had betrayed her. She touched only his garment, but to her, that touch meant life. Jesus stopped. "Who touched me?" he asked. The woman froze. "Master, it was I." "Daughter," he said, lifting her bowed head with the warmth of his voice, "your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Before the wonder settled, messengers arrived from Jairus' house. "Your daughter is dead," they murmured. "Do not trouble the teacher anymore." But Jesus looked at Jairus with the steady calm he had shown the sea itself. "Do not fear," he said. "Only believe." At the house, mourners wailed. Flute players droned their sorrow. But Jesus walked through the crowd, took the girl's hand, and spoke softly, so softly that the words carried more tenderness than command. Talitha Koum, little girl, arise. Color rushed back into her cheeks. Her eyes fluttered open. Life returned, gentle and whole. Her mother sobbed into her husband's arms as Jesus simply said, with almost fatherly concern, "Give her something to eat." By evening, the stories had spread across Galilee. Stories of storms stilled, demons driven out, the sick restored, and death itself pushed back by a single touch. Yet Jesus knew these were but shadows of a greater storm ahead. A cross waited in Jerusalem. A sacrifice older than creation stirred in the shape of prophecy fulfilled. But for now, he walked through the villages, teaching with quiet authority, healing with compassion, and calling hearts out of darkness. And the people followed, not because they understood everything he was, but because when Jesus walked into the storm bowed. Historical note. This story portrays real events recorded in the New Testament. Jesus calming the storm. Mark 4 verses 35 to 41. Healing the Gerasene demoniac. Mark 5 verses 1 to 20. Restoring the bleeding woman. Mark 5 verses 25 to 34. And raising Jairus' daughter. Mark 5 verses 21 to 24, 35 to 43. Dialogue. Descriptive details and emotional perspectives are dramatized for narrative depth, but the sequence and substance of events follow the biblical accounts.